I think it's working now. Sorry about that. The audio wasn't working, and then I fixed the audio, and then for some reason I couldn't get the live stream to pop up again. So I think it's working now. That's the good news, so we can go through it. But the bad news is I don't have any guests because I think Kamish had to leave. Yeah, he's gone. He had to leave. And Toast, I guess, never even woke up this morning. So it's just me. But whatever. Let's go through it. I'm not betting. Well, I'm just going to take 5 minutes and go through it. Because it's just me. Sorry about that again. Let's get started. I'm not betting the doubleheader either. Don't care. I have some graphics, but I'm not even... Screw that. Nats at Mets. Let's run a poll. See if this is working. Feel so alone up here. All right, polls running. There might only be about 15 people in here due to the fact that of the technical errors. So Nats Mets, you're great, and it's only me, and I don't even like this game. So hold on, let me pull up my notes. I do have some graphics to go through. It's just. All right. Under or pass? All right, so Josiah Gray has terrible looking numbers against the Mets. That's a positive for the Mets. There's a bunch of positive for the Mets. The thing is, Josiah Gray is also a beast on the road, and he pitched great against the Mets earlier in the season. Let's get to his road numbers. Yeah, you can see, and this is true last year. These are his numbers from this year. 2.74 ERA on the road, up to a 4.57 at home. FIPS lower, home runs in less than half. And like I said, this is true last year. This is universally true about this guy. He just pitches better on the road. Mets bats are righty. Mets bats starting to come alive a little bit, but still nothing that really scare us. The last 14 days, they're just 15th in WRC plus, 21st in on base percentage against righties. I don't really think the Mets have tagged a few righty starters recently, but I think Josiah Gray should pitch well here. Now, but also, you know who else should pitch well is Kodai Senga. He didn't pitch too great against Washington to start earlier in the season, but look at the last 7 starts from Kodai Senga. Dude's been a beast. He's got a 2.61 ERA, 102 WHIP, 3.29 expected FIP. He's also been a savage at home at Citi Field all season. 2.50 ERAs, 2.68 WOBA. He's been good as hell at home. So I don't think there's any reason to doubt either starting pitcher here. Nats bats, kind of like the Mets. Like nothing. They're not absolutely terrible against righties, but nothing really to scare you either. I'm not even gonna bet this game, to be honest. Let me see if there's any cool graphics at the end. The only reason I went through these graphics was because I didn't want to just skip. Like it's just me, so I got nothing here. All right, let's move. Let's see what the poll did. 54% Mets, 35% Nationals, 8% under, 2% over. Let's move on to the next one. Cubs at Cardinals. Actually, before I say it, let's run a poll. There you go. Cubs Cardinals poll running. All right. So I do have a bet on this one. And I am betting the Cardinals money line. Going back to the Cards, hit up plus 30 yesterday. Oh, last night was green, by the way, plus 0.38. So we've been green every day this week. Not crazy. We're only up about 1.7 or 1.6 on the week, but we've been green Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So, and this Cardinals plus 130 helped. All right, so obviously public's all over the Cubs here. Justin Steele pitching. But first of all, Justin Steele's on the road where he's been worse. But second of all, it's his third time pitching against this Cardinals lineup in just 33 days. And the first time he's pitching against them in Busch Stadium this season. He did pitch well against him in the first 2 games, but I don't think I want to roll the dice on that happening a third time. In the last 14 days, the Cubs are 6th in WRC plus against left-handed pitching, so Cardinals have been hitting lefties. The last lefty to come into Busch Stadium and pitch was Jesus Luzardo. He made it just 4 innings pitched, 5 hits, 3 walks, and 3 runs. Cardinals are hitting lefties. You want to know who the lefty to come into Busch Stadium was before Luzardo? Framber Valdez, 6 innings pitched, 8 hits, 4 runs. So yeah, I think the Cards bats are going to get to Justin Steele. I don't care what happened in those first 2 games. At home at Busch Stadium, the Cards are going to get to Justin Steele here. And on the other side, I know not everyone's the biggest fan of Miles Mikolas. I'm not really either. He's pitched against the Cubs twice already this year, similar to Justin Steele. And neither were really good. In fact, one was really bad. The Cubs had 11 hits and 5 earned runs off him last week. The start back in May was better, but not great. But both those games were in Wrigley Field. The last time Mikolas pitched against the Cubs at Busch Stadium was September of last year. He threw 8 shutout innings, allowing just 2 hits. Threw an absolute monster. But that last year's Cubs lineup is different than this year's. But here's the factor. This is what we need to get to right here. Cubs bullpen usage. Check this out. So if you're unfamiliar with the Cubs bullpen, those are the 2 main guys right up top. Alzolay and Mark Leiter Jr. And they have both pitched. They pitched Tuesday night and Wednesday during the day. They both pitched on back-to-back days. So most likely, neither Alzolay or Leiter will be available. That's their 2 best arms. So the Cubs bullpen missing their 2 best arms. And then you add on the fact that we're getting the Cardinals at home. Let's see what the current odds are, because I looked about 3 hours ago. I just want to make sure it hasn't moved like crazy. Cubs Cardinals. Let's see what our best line is. Ooh, Cardinals are minus 115 favorites now. That has moved. Still like them. So, Cards, money line, minus 115. There you go. Let's see what our poll thinks. Polls all over the Cubs. 66% on the Cubs, 23% on the Cardinals, 10% over. No one on the under here. It looks like, let me read back some of the comments. Yeah, but actually, there's a couple people on the Cards, so not everyone's betting the Cubs here. All right, let's move on to the next one. Cleveland at Chicago, Guardians, White Sox. It's the next one and the last one, because it's a very short day today. Let's run a poll. Guardians. Good morning, Prop Beaver. Over, under. All right, poll is up. Cast your votes. Cast your votes. All right, so my pick for this one, this is on the ticket. I am betting this. I am taking Cleveland money line, and when I did my notes, it was at minus 105. You know what? Before I start, let's go get an updated line to see if that's moved, because that was like over 2 hours ago now. Cleveland. Here we go. Minus 104 on FanDuel. I'll take that extra penny on the dollar. Minus 104 on FanDuel. So I'm playing the Guardians here on the road. I would imagine the poll's probably going to be pretty heavy on Cleveland too. I'll check that in a second. But all right, so before we talk about the pitchers, let's talk about these 2 lineups for a second. It's a righty-righty pitching matchup, and straight up, Cleveland in the last 2 weeks, and pretty much the last 2 months, you could say, Cleveland's a top 5 lineup against righties. Chicago White Sox, bottom 5 lineup against righties. So before we even start discussing the pitchers, we're dealing with top 5 versus bottom 5. Tanner Bybee. Hold on, let me pull up his numbers. Tanner Bybee in his last 4 starts has a 1.14 ERA, 1.67 opponent batting average. He's been absolutely dominant in the month of July. Tanner Bybee's last 2 starts on the road, 1.54 ERA, 0.94 whip, 2.74 expected FIP. That was at Texas and at Wrigley Field. Tanner Bybee's been good as hell against the White Sox lineup that isn't hitting righties at all. All right. Just to clarify how bad the White Sox lineup has been, since July 1st, the White Sox are 30th, dead last in WRC plus at home. This has been the worst home lineup in baseball. Dylan Cease is pitching for the White Sox, and he's been decent. He was pretty good in both his games against Cleveland so far this year. But they were back in May, back when the Guardians weren't hitting at all. Cleveland's been, like I said, Cleveland's been a top 10 lineup against righties for about 2 months now. So this is a different lineup. You got guys in the back of the lineup like Brennan and Straw who are hitting now. They weren't hitting. I don't even think one of them was in the lineup early in the year. But regardless, Cleveland's a whole new lineup. Something that's a little concerning. The current Cleveland bats are just 3 of 37 lifetime off Dylan Cease. So he has pitched well against this lineup over the course of his career. But like I said, this Cleveland offense is the best it's been in a while. So I expect them to get to Cease with a much better lineup. I'm taking Cleveland. Do I have a... And here are the bullpen users for this. All right. So you can see Chicago, the White Sox used all their main arms last night in that game against the Cubs. Graveman threw 20 pitches. Middleton threw 25 pitches. Joe Kelly threw 26 pitches. Aaron Bummer threw 29 pitches. So that's their 4 main arms. A couple of those guys, especially Graveman, probably going to be available if they need them. So as far as the bullpen taxation goes, slight edge to Cleveland. But, I mean, I don't think I need any more sales pitch than that. You're getting Cleveland at minus 104 against a team that they're much better than. Poll is on the Guardians. 66% on Cleveland, 23% on the White Sox, 7% under, 3% over. All right, so that's it. I mean, I you know what? I have an underdog. We can do that. Let's do that. Me and Toast, we're going to do a like a draft where we pick like a couple guys and do a thing, but I guess he's still sleeping. All right, so here's my 3-pick underdog for the day. Justin Steele, higher than 6 hits allowed. So yeah, I know everyone's thinking Justin Steele is going to deal here. I don't. I think the Cardinals light him up like they've been lighting up a lot of good pitchers they've seen. So higher than 6 hits. Tanner Bybee, lower than 2.5 earned runs. I mean, it's the White Sox bats. And then Dylan Cease, higher than 2.5 earned runs. So the second 2 are from the same game. That's a 6 times payout. If you don't have Underdog, it's available in all of the states highlighted in orange here. Just use the promo code BET, B-E-T, for a $100 deposit match. And I mean, that's it, man. I mean, we can't do a community parlay with 4 games. How about, you know what? Let's run a poll and see what everyone's favorite bet is. How about that? We'll do that, and then we'll call it a day. Everyone's favorite bet. So we'll say Mets minus 1.5. We'll say Cubs money line because you guys voted for the Cubs, or we'll say Guardians money line. All right, what's everyone's favorite bet of the day? And it looks like it's going to be Cleveland. And I imagine it would be. The line doesn't really make sense. It actually feels a bit trappy, but I can't disagree. I'm on Cleveland, too. I'm surprised more people aren't voting the Cubs, to be honest. I thought both the Cleveland and the Cubs would be both pretty public. Yeah, everyone's voting Cleveland here. Can't disagree with that. All right. So I'm sorry about the mix-up. I figured out what it was, by the way, so it won't happen again. Basically, if I unplug my headphones from my monitor, I have to restart the computer to get it to... Whatever, you don't care. The point is I figured out what was wrong. So, thanks everyone for watching. Tomorrow's Friday, and it's me, Toast, FTB. We're going to go through all 15 games. Friday, as you know, best baseball day of the week. So, 4 p.m. Hope to see you there. Yeah, that's it. Let's enjoy a nice, slow day, and we'll get back on the grind tomorrow. I'll be posting the ticket in about 2 hours. I'm only betting the night game, so I didn't want to post it too early. That's why, because the games I'm betting don't start till 7. So if you're on the VIP list, just give me a couple hours and probably post it around like 2. So, all right, everyone have a good one.